And now I'll request Mr. Mallesh Cheekoti.
Good afternoon to all the distinguished guests who are attending today. The main topic I'm going to be covering today more about the video technology, how it assists the AIS 140, if we talk about how we can provide the road safety, avoid risks to the drivers and associated road users on a day to day. When it comes to the technologies evolved since the AS 140 has been introduced, and when I first heard about the AS 140, I was so fascinated to learn about the introduction. I live in the Europe, and it's over 20 years, and then I've seen advancements. The technology moved on in part of the US as well as the Europe. It can enable monetization, of course. So what we're looking at more about monetizing for the governments is the main aim is to save the lives, I would say. So avoid the accidents, how we assist the road users and the drivers. In generally what happens in the road conditions, if I'm traveling, if I'm being hit by someone, the driver's fault comes as a default. And we have seen evidenced in many cases when the incident takes place, the first thing would happen without analyzing the actual situation, take the driver into the custody. And we have no evidence. All you have to depend on the evidence as submitted, what people are talking about. And basically what happens is genuinely, if you see the video would speak the 1,000 words. So you have the evidence of the incident. But since then as well, the technology moving on, as I said, so the original GPS trackers and the logistics helped with that. And we talked about, Sushilji said, the pressure sensors. The pressure sensor is nothing but an accelerometer, and every one of our device we hold, the mobile, will have the accelerometer. Yeah. And an accelerometer would help us. When you drop the telephone, you know that phone has been dropped. And the similar way, we have the gyro sensors, and then the G sensors can detect whether there was an incident or an accident. That is how not only the accidents, we can also analyze. So the video is helping to analyze after the incident, but what do we do going forward beyond that? And I'm certainly sure that Ravinderji would be speaking a bit later on, is about the ADAS and AI, which I would like to avoid talking more about that. But since those advanced technologies would help to avoid the incidents. So what we do is having a video, you can analyze an aftermath of the incident. So this technology would help to assist the drivers in order to avoid the incident. That's what we do. But when the implementation comes with its own cost, so what I would more talk about, the AS140 and extending the technology I would recommend, having the video, and then also identify the object. For example, we can link with the crime database, those databases, and when you have the person detected, which is the serial offender, can be alerted to the control center. And at the same time, we can have the passenger count. For example, the transportation system, we can automate number of passengers got onto the bus, whether the particular bus has been overcrowded. We see in day-to-day number of transportation systems overcrowded on the buses, so we can plan on that. So effectively, the video telematics would help assisting various departments and assisting extending the smarter city solutions in order to provide the better ITS systems, and it also provides the safety in terms of the road users and also to the public. Okay. And some of the challenges would come with the video technologies. The privacy is the major concern that everyone talks about. I've evidenced in terms of, obviously, without someone's consent, you're continuously recording the video. And also, we talked about the DSM, the DMS, it's being referred as monitoring the driver state. That could come with the, again, majority of the Western parts as well, I evidenced. You have a trade unions. I'm sure the PTUs, we have public transport associations. Soon you implement. Some of the hesitation should come about why you're monitoring basically the camera facing the driver 24/7. When the driver is driving, and then obviously majority of these equipment would have a voice control, voice monitoring, and various other aspects of it. The major focus is on safeguarding the public transport. As the policy makers should also consider looking at the governance policy about how do we safeguard those video recording equipment, how do we policy make that this is not going to be misused? I think those are the aspects as well we need to look at as a video recording equipment when we're making the policy, to say that, okay, these recording equipment should have some sort of a security encryption, and also only being used for the purpose. That's what I mean to say. The security definitely has to be taken into consideration. The final, I would more talk about the topic for the how do we improve overall. Of course, I have a video, I have a telematics, and then driver behavior. As we know the day-to-day, if we don't learn from the findings and the data collected, we will not be improving from it. So my recommendation would be on the road transport perspective. We have many corporates. In fact, this week I've met one of the entrepreneur in terms of the implementation for the video telematics and the ADAS and DMS. The first reaction came to me. Of course, I check the driver before he goes on a duty, so I don't really need a video solution. But how many times have we seen, if I'm going to be presenting to my boss, of course they'll be prepared to come and then go through it. But in terms of the human tendency to change, I mean, if it's maybe stressful after a few hours, so it might involve into an incident. So therefore, for us, it's very important as an organization, particularly I would think is some large organizations do adopt this technology, but if there is a mandate comes from the government, like we introduced AS 140, I would think, in my opinion, if we can enforce these organizations, particularly big logistic organizations, and then transport organizations, to impose how the driver training should be done. So with the help of this, there was a delay with the presentation. I would move on few presentation slides here. So the topic I was referring to you, some of them video telematics, how it helps. I'm just gonna quickly move on from the topics here. We talked about recording of a video and how that can help in terms of the surveillance or for the security purposes. And you can have a vehicle equipped with up to even 25, 30 cameras. You can angle 360 angles of the vehicle can be covered. The privacy is the major concern, which I already covered. The security is the other aspect I would like to cover here. This again comes with the collaboration with the various governments. Particularly, we need to work very closely with. We need to consider as a technology provider how we're going to safeguard and protect and work with the local authorities and the governments. We have a military area, for example. Last year, I was working with one of the large implementation in Europe. And this is not like a military grade kind of a operational area. This is even a water supply, water board. So majority of us would take very lightly, but if anybody wanted to compromise on a water supply, and obviously, if they compromise the water area, the water being supplied to thousands of the households, and they're poisoning the water if I have to really use it. So that's going to be a massive terrorist kind of activity. It could happen if you don't safeguard it. Then if you don't have those restrictions, any private vehicle coming into those areas, recording the geography of that area, could lead to compromises. Therefore, we need to have as a nation, when these technology evolving, there is a framework. Therefore, as a government of India, restricts certain areas of video recording. So as a technology providers, we can have the geofencing those areas. As soon as the vehicle enters into the area, video recording shuts down. So we don't need to have any particular kind of a third-party organization managing their own areas. If you have a central database, government mandating it, okay, this is the areas is not allowed to record any private video recording. We got those privacy and security is being covered. I would like to touch base on the fourth point, the driver coaching and FRAS, which is the Fleetly risk assessment and scoring mechanism. These devices are recording a lot of information. We're talking about the driver behavior, whether the driver is driving harshly and whether it's a harsh turn, and how we can improve that kind of a driver. Unless every day we drive, how do I learn from my mistakes? When we are learning from our mistakes, and then if I make that accountability comes into play, then effectively it becomes easier. So we got a platform where any particular driver behavior event is being flagged, and the drivers are being notified, and as a corporate, if they can provide the sort of a training kind of a cycle within those organizations, that therefore, over a period of time, the drivers would learn from the mistake and then carries on. The final, I would like to conclude very quickly on this. So I would like to conclude pretty quickly on this. The technology does assist. We have a lot of options in order to improve the road safety. And probably some of you may be aware, Europe is introducing the speed detection systems. Basically, the vehicle would not. I mean, earlier I heard from the Mr. Srivastavaji, on a motorway, almost at 300 kilometers driving speed. But the Europe in July from next year, they imposed a law, any vehicle manufacturer, they should have a default technology based on the geography of the road. I mean, we have every road, different road speeds. As soon as you enter, if the road is 120, the vehicle would lose the power. So that means even I can't pedal more than 120 kilometers. So automatically, that means only disadvantaged governments would get that with that technology. There is no speed fines. Okay, that's where of course, works against the monetizing revenue. But if I can save the lives of someone, that would be much more better. But there are some challenges. When you have a two-lane road, if you are trying to overtake a big truck, then momentarily you would be speeding more than the legal speed limit. As the vehicles do allow the technology where you pedal down, but your control black box would record everything. You have pedaled down, but as long as a few seconds you take overspeed and then merge with the line is okay. So we have many technologies comes with the video. That's what I mean trying to say. And the video does speak a lot comparatively other analytical systems. So the overall, my recommendation would be, we recommend the video technology, even though some reservations are there around the security and the privacy, as long as we have a mandated rule, work with the government on some of the regulatory authorities to impose how we impose, then I think overall the benefits are there with the video technology. And in order to widely use, it comes with the cost. I would say widely use this technology unless government says that every vehicle must have it, like an AS140 vehicle. I think majority of the private entities would avoid the cost the way they avoid the cost. They not really proactively adopt the technology. I would think, in my opinion, it does add massively benefit to the road safety particularly. And out of this 150,000 accidents, 45% of them are the bike riders. I mean, bike riding fatalities coming from that 45,000. So I think I recommend the video technology. That's all I conclude from here. Thank you so much.
Running a fleet operation is a complex task without right technology. You need monitoring vehicles, driver behavior events, actionable insights, safe driving, and regulatory compliance. Discover Fleetly, an advanced video telematics